Case opening traps are psychological weapons. They teach you how to think like an attacker, how to smell the danger, and how to convert small chances into chows. So even when you learn traps for defense, you are secretly training your attacking instinct. Because in chess, player who knows the traps doesn't just avoid the defeat, he creates it. Welcome to hidden world of Caro-Kanntraps. This is the trap every Caro-Kann player would not want to forget for his life. E4, C6, NC3, D5. White intentionally plays knight F3, provoking black to capture D takes E4. Knight takes E4, very natural move, bishop F4, developing a piece and attacking on the white piece. White counter attacks with knight G3, bishop G6. Can you guess the next move? H4. If you see at this bishop, it is not having much mobility now, cannot go anywhere. H5 or H6 is must. Black plays H6. Knight F5 following the bishop. Bishop H7. Can you guess the next move? Bishop C4 attacking the F7. E6 is force. Here comes a trap. Queen E2. Knight D7. Do you think it is a blunder? If you say yes, you are right. Because knight takes F7 is a deadly sacrifice. Knight is forking on the queen and the rook. If king takes F7, queen takes E6 is a mad. It's game over for black. Think carefully and let me know in the comment where the black went wrong. Was it possible to save this game? Let me know in the comment. Greed is an invitation for misery. Trap number 2. E4, C6, C4, D5, E takes D5, C takes D5, D4, Knight F6, Knight C3, Knight C6. All the natural normal moves being played on the board. Bishop G5, Queen B6, forking the pawn on B2 and D4. White has a brilliant idea here. White plays C takes D5, allowing both the pawns to be captured. Black queen gets greedy, captures B2. Knight is supportless. Rook C1. Knight B4, targeting pawn on A2. Knight A4, allowing capture on A2. Queen takes A2. Bishop C4, attacking the queen. Bishop G4, counter attack on the white queen. Interfered by Knight F3. Queen A3. Can you guess the winning move here? Rook C3, and queen has no place to move. Let's check out one more deadly trap. E4, C6, D4, D5, NC3, D takes E4, Knight takes E4, Knight D7, Queen A2, Knight F6. Can you visualize the mate here? It's pretty simple. Knight D6 check, and it's mate because pawn is pinned and knight cannot be captured by d7 pawn. Very simple but very important concept to be remembered. Let's move to trap number 4. Start is e4, c6, d4, g6, knight c3, bishop g7, knight f3, d5, h3, preventing black bishop to come over g4, e6, bishop f4, queen b6. If you remember trap number 2, greedy queen came to capture b2 and got trapped on a3, but this cannot be happening in this game because there is pawn on c2. If you don't remember, just go back to trap number 2 and see it again. Let's continue in this game. Queen d2, knight e7, long castle, f6, queen b1, queen a5, Black actually moved this queen twice for this fruitless spin and enters into danger. Do you want to try what could be the next move for white? You can pause the video, think a bit, and check out your ideas and see if you are correct. Very dangerous move here is knight takes d5. White captured a pawn and queen is under attack. This queen is supportless. Queen takes d2 is force. Before capturing rook takes queen, there is an intermediate move. Knight c7 check, forking king and rook. Queen d8, rook takes d2. White's next move is can capture rook on a8. Black tried to counter attack e5, but it doesn't work like that. Black's idea is simple. He want to capture either knight or bishop, but here comes a beautiful move from white. That is a discovered check with d takes e5. Check from rook. Of course, black can capture the knight, but lost second pawn. First pawn it lost on d5. Now it lost pawn on e5. And again a discovered check with d takes f6, king b6, f takes g7. White already captured 3 extra pawns. Black cannot counter attack because rook g8 will be replied by bishop e5. If knight comes at d7, bishop will move back to c3, king c7, bishop c4. Do you want to see how two knights simply captured the queen? Let's begin. e4, c6, d4, d5, nc3, d takes e4, knight takes e4, knight d7, knight g5, knight gf6, bishop d3, e6, queen e2. I hope you remember this concept. The importance of queen e2, bishop e7, knight g1 to f3, b6. Can you guess the move here? If you say it's a knight sacrifice, then you are right. Knight takes f7, forking rook and queen, king takes f7, knight g5 check, king e8. Can you find the move here? Yes, it's knight takes e6 and queen has no place to go. Let's move to next one. e4, c6, d4, d5, knight c3, e takes d4, knight takes e4, bishop f5. We are going to see a same concept if you remember. Knight g3, bishop g6, knight f3, e6. Can you guess the move? Yes, it's with the idea of trapping the bishop. h4, aspiring to move to h5 and trapping the bishop. h6 makes a place for the bishop. Knight e5, bishop h7, bishop c4. I hope by the time you already know what is going to happen. Knight d7, queen e2. Previously I had asked you how to prevent from this trap. Here I will tell you, like in this game, if we could capture this knight right away, we can get away from the trap. Or in previous game, black would have played queen e7, then he would have gotten away with the trap. But in this game, black played knight gf6, and rest you can play with closed eyes. Knight takes f7, king takes f7, queen takes e6. Black can play like, but king will be followed by bishop d3, check and mate. I'm sure you will definitely enjoy this trap. Without wasting time, let's get started. e4, c6, d4, d5, knight c3, d takes e4, knight takes e4, knight f6, knight takes f6 check, d takes f6, c3, bishop d6, bishop d3, short castle, queen c2, attacking the h7, g6, knight e2, queen c7, h4, knight bd7, h5, f5, takes g6, h takes g6, bishop g5, c5, bishop takes f5, trying to break open all the position. f6, instead of capturing this, bishop e6, king g7, bishop h6, king h7. Can you visualize the mate here? If you think bishop takes f8 is a mating move, then you are wrong. It will be followed by bishop h2, rook takes h2, queen takes h2. There is one important move here. Can you guess what it is? It is rook h3, rook h8, bishop f8 is a mate. Let's see an idea to outsmart white. Game starts with e4, c6, d4, d5, nc3, e takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6. White captures knight on f6. Now instead of capturing from e pawn, let's capture like g takes f6, bishop f4, queen b6. Remember, we will not rush capture this pawn on b2. We are just threatening to capture. Rook b1, bishop e6, threatening capture on a2. To avoid this, b3 is played. Bishop f5, eyeing on this diagonal. Bishop c4, knight a6. If you see carefully, you will understand black is ready for the long castle. White tries to threaten black by playing a4. Black continues the plan with long castle. Now there is pressure on d4 pawn. To minimize it, white plays bishop takes. White supports with knight e2, c5. This pawn is pinned, so white cannot capture the c5 pawn. To reduce the pressure on d4, white captures on a6. Queen takes a6, bishop e3. White is trying to holding on to d4 pawn. C takes d4, knight takes d4. And here comes a stunning blow, e5. This knight is in danger. Now, white plans to capture two pieces like bishop and rook for his queen. Knight takes d4. Normal expectation is rook takes d1 and rook takes d1. And this game could still be playable for white. But instead, black played one more stunning move. Bishop b4 check. So this diagonal is covered and check on this diagonal. So only possible move is bishop d2, bishop takes d2, queen takes d2, rook takes d2, king takes d2. Black could eliminate the white queen and also created a blow by taking out opportunity to castle. This is a good plan to avoid all the traps from white and taking white into black's favorable territory. Let's check out an idea for white to attack on black's castle. e4, c6, d4, d5, knight c3, d takes e4. Here white plays f3, e takes f3, knight takes f3, e6, bd3, knight f6, short castle. Look at the mobility of white pieces. All the minor pieces are ready for attack. And for black, Only one minor piece is in the game. Black continues. Knight bd7, queen e2, bishop e7. I hope you remember certain ideas that we seen in previous traps. Like in such situations, knight can jump over e5, then it gives a sack over f7. The next move is knight e5. Finally, black could castle. Rook f3. White is already preparing for very dangerous attack. c5. This is very passive move by black. Rook h3. C takes d4. Here white completely ignores threat from black pawn. Capture on c3 and captures knight takes d7. This is an important move because in this game often the sacrifices happen on h7 square. When black recaptures in such situations with this knight, more often than not, knight from d7 comes to f6 to support the h7 square. To avoid all these maneuvers, white directly captured knight on d7, bishop takes d7, and the killer blow, bishop takes h7, check, knight takes h7, queen h5, and threat is mate at h7. White tries to stop it by creating intermediate move bishop h4, but rook takes h4, and black has to resign here. Let's check out the last trap from this video. Game starts with e4, c6, d4, d5, knight c3, e takes d4, knight takes d4, bishop f5. Now previously what we have seen is knight g3, bishop g6, knight f3, knight bd7, h4. The idea to trap the bishop. Here in this game, white plays a variation bishop d3. The threat is to give a check from here or here and then capture the bishop. To save the bishop, bishop moved to g6. I hope I did not to tell you next two moves. By now, you must be well versed with it. The next move is queen e2, bd7, and simply knight d6 mate.